everything you do. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope it's not too late for you. But just I want to tell you, it's been now 5 years for Father George here. And look how much difference he has made, and we want to thank him for his long dedication. Abuna Sharbi, it's always good to have you here on the Rahma Karam, and God be with you in your new mission in Australia. He will be the superior of the St. Chapel Church and Monastery in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. I was in church today, and I've been here in the hall. I think each one of us at his and her home, we want the best. We all, and you do. You're great people. You do your best. You make sure you're professionals. And you achieve. We're average and above. I have to be honest. We're above average in our own personal life. But when it comes to our church, we take it for granted, and we always point somebody else will do it. There is a story in Genesis when God forbade Adam and Eve to eat from the tree. What happens? Adam said, "It's not me, it's the wife who put it, the lady, it's the woman you put her with me, and the woman is not me, it's the serpent." Always somebody point to someone else. But I was looking at the church today, I was saying Mass. We have some leaves, the sanctuary, the beautiful, painting and everything behind. Those scratches, those should be fixed, those should be taken care of right away. The house of God should be always first and top, because this is a reflection of our faith, of our commitment, our love. And I'm sure if this happened in your home, right away you take care of it. You won't let it go down like that. And I heard there's so many other needs. That's why we want to make one-time effort, special effort. And if each one of us participate in one way or another, it will be done with no time. And in these things, one time a priest said, "I have good news and bad news." The good news, we have all the money to do all the campaign, all the renovation and everything. The bad news is still in your pocket, it's not in the church. In some way, you and I, we still sometimes hesitate. I want to tell you to treat the church as your home. St. Anthony is the home for every one of us. And we need to make sure to do it right away. Mike said the NAM convention is coming next year. And instead of waiting till May to start fixing, let's start fixing things ASAP. Let's try to make a point to do whatever we can to have that perspective. And then we will really make sure St. Anthony shines. And I know you're very successful people from that point. Some of you questioned, we had money in the past, what happened? And I want to apologize from that point. We were not vigilant as a diocese, and I want to say, to watch what was happening and the wrong things were done. I want to apologize as the bishop for all the mistakes that happened in the past. Unfortunately, I cannot go back to past and erase it, back. But I want to make sure those things will never happen again. We're putting now policy and statutes and think those things, whatever happened in the past, the mistakes, won't happen again. I wish I could say, I could correct and erase everything of the past. But I want to make sure those things won't never happen again in the future. And that's why I want your understanding, your forgiveness, and your commitment back to the church as well, to St. Anthony in summer. The second thing, St. Anthony, Father George said, it's not an island. It's part of an eparchy, of a diocese. And the mother is like the diocese. The diocese is like a mother who brings all the family, all the children together. And from that perspective, the mother also needs your help as well. We're blessed in so many ways, but we want to make sure to strategize for better future ahead. Before we start, I'd like for you to see this video that gives you an idea about our campaign and come back and explain.
ancient roots in Lebanon, roots reaching back to the apostles, we have grown across the world and throughout the United States.
Our Maronite presence in the States started back in late 19th century. The people came, some of them brought their priests with them. But each parish priest and each community became independent island, each one the self-sufficient community. There was no bishop to bring all of them together. Till 1966, when we had our first Maronite bishop in the United States.
Our beloved Eparchy was established in 1994 with a decree from Pope John Paul II. 25 years later, we are alive with missionary, energy, and ecumenical spirit. A Maronite Catholic diocese, joyfully ministering to the Maronite faithful in 34 states, serving as a bridge between East and West, intertwining our faith with our proud culture and heritage.
So we understand Holy Scriptures from who we are. It is organically coming out from our own culture. This is the beauty and the power of what we carry in our hearts and in our culture and in who we are.
Together, we are called to be true disciples, to love our neighbors as ourselves, to raise our children in the faith, and to take heart God's plan of marriage.
It is a very exciting time in the life of our eparchy. The past 25 years have been years of building and years of expansion. And the next 25 years will be focused on making sure that what we build stays strong and continues.
Introducing Vision for the Future, Mission for Today. The Eparchy's first ever capital campaign. An unprecedented opportunity for us to unite as one Maronite Catholic diocese, to lead by example in prayer, action, and generosity.
Again and again we thank you, Lord, and
To strengthen three key pillars: missions, ministries, and ministers.
We're putting the cornerstone, good foundations at all levels. But we cannot just think, oh, for 25 years down the line, I have to do something today. That's why it came Vision for the Future, Mission for Today, because the needs are urgent today.
Here is a snapshot, a look at our $15 million campaign priorities and what your generosity will allow us to accomplish. $5 million directed towards seminarian education. $2.5 million to the care of retired priests. An additional $3 million will help us grow new and current ministries. $3 million will help support our mission work, strengthen existing parishes, and create new ones. And $1.5 million will help us enhance our ability to help those in need.
Education and formation seminary is costly. It costs around, at this stage, between $40,000 and $45,000 a year per seminarian. It takes minimum 4 or 5 years for seminarians.
We are the future church, because in the seminary, I think this is the beginning of the church, because without seminarians, no priest, and without priest, no church. Also, St. John Paul II say that we need a priest to have Eucharist, as we need the Eucharist to have priest, because our priesthood comes from Jesus.
We can really develop the priests and have enough priests available to us to go to these small areas that nowadays we can't build a church, but now we have the means to go and send and preach the good word. How Maronite faith is spread and how it complements and completes the Catholic faith.
As we work to support a new generation of Maronite priests, our Vision for the Future, Mission for Today, calls us to ensure a modest retirement for those older priests who've served us so faithfully.
So these priests live quite a bit in their life. I mean, they're 24/7 on call, so their job is endless. And I think we should be very thankful to what they do, and we should take care of them appropriately.
Growing our youth ministry, keeping our children, youth, and young adults connected to the church is another Vision for the Future, Mission for Today priority.
The importance of the youth programs and the young adult programs priority in our eparchies right now, not just because of the size of our parishes, but because of the structure of our world. Their struggles that they are facing every day are so much greater than we struggled with 30, 40, 50 years ago. And if we don't look after them, faith is becoming something that's on the side.
Start out in the name of the Father and of the Son.
Imagine how exciting it is if we can bring together our efforts and see our children excited about living out their faith because they feel the sense of belonging to the Maronite Church.
It's important to strengthen it because the church will not continue to grow and be prosperous without the young adults wanting to do so.
The church is like a second home to me. Our priests are like our parents because I've known my priest since I was young. I hope that in 10, 20 years the church grows even more, even around the nation, because I want my kids to experience what I've experienced and have a sense of a second home.
Hand in hand with the development of our youth ministry program is the establishment of family catechesis and pro-family ministry programs, giving help, hope, and strength to families and marriages.
Well, the family ministry is going to focus on three aspects. On the couple, marriage preparation and marriage enrichment. Focus on the family, making sure that the family is well equipped to face its modern life daily challenges. And the third aspect of the family ministry is education.
Open the door through which the righteous and just have entered.
Together, we will ensure, as one eparchy, that all our parishes and missions are strong both financially and spiritually. And we will set aside additional funding for the establishment of new Maronite parishes. Right now, of the 34 states within the eparchy's boundaries, only 18 have at least one parish or mission. This leaves many Maronites unserved or turning to other parishes.
This campaign is very important to build our parishes and build our families, keep our identity, and in a way it's something that will make us proud for our homeland, where we come from.
Your donations to Vision for the Future, Mission for Today, will be directed to campaign priorities and nothing else. To ensure this and promote full transparency, all funds will be placed in the newly created Maronite Catholic Foundation, a nonprofit corporation that will be supervised by a 9-member board of trustees, including the bishop, 2 other clergy, and 6 lay people. All campaign funds will be held in a separate bank account and will flow through the foundation to designated campaign priorities.
Let us give thanks to the Lord with reverence and worship Him with humility.
As Christian disciples, we want to share our gifts. Supporting the mission, vision, and ministries is vitally important to our present and future as Maronite Catholics.
You're giving and you're helping to build the kingdom of God. You're not helping just for the time being, today only. You're helping for generations to come. And your participation is essential. I could always say, oh, somebody else can do it. If everybody say somebody else can do it, nothing will be done.
As we celebrate our eparchy's Silver Jubilee year, we ask God to motivate us to always place ourselves under His guidance and to respond generously with our time, talent, and treasure.
This is an opportunity for all of us to make a meaningful and loving investment in our children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. Our life is our faith. It is our very identity.
Out of the love for you and for your holy name.
Developing a vision for the future that this particular bishop has, and I think shares in common with all of his priests. His vision is one that allows us to do what we need to do to serve God's people.
All of the needs that have been identified are important and perhaps critical. And they all factor into helping us to better understand ourselves, whether it's through education, through family life, the financial stability of the parishes in the eparchy, so that we can better live and articulate to others our identity, who we are. I assure you that your investment is investment in our future. The money is not going to go to waste, and it's our Maronite heritage that we are preserving in this wonderful country.
And I'm hoping each one of us look within you, within your heart, your mind, see how much God has blessed you. And as I always repeat, it's not equal gifts, it's equal sacrifice. From my heart, from my mind, and also with my prayer to the Almighty God. I thank God for you and ask Him to bless you with good health, happiness, and success in all your endeavors.
God bless you and thank you. May God keep you all in good health. Thank you.
Vision for the future, mission for today. A capital campaign for the Eparchy of Our Lady of Lebanon.
We started, since I became bishop 6 years ago, I started thinking, how can we make things better? Because we were living from day to day. Give us this day our daily bread. Thanks be to God. God has blessed us. But I thought it's time maybe to start the planning, because I wanted to have more seminarians. Right now we have, by the way, 9 seminarians. And we have 3 married men who also accepted in addition to the 9. And we have also some other application for women, which is, thank God, in the future, next year I will be ordaining 3 priests. And this will keep going and flowing, God willing, into more and more priests on a regular basis. We said we want to do something, start planning for a better future, because the funds cannot sustain what we have and all the things we need to do. Like the things for the parish, the regular connection is not enough. That's why we need to do capital campaign to do the major remodeling. I brought 4 people with me to start, in addition to stewardship director, financial officer in the diocese, start thinking, what can we do? We start talking, how can we do capital campaign, what's the way to do it? And the more we went into studying and thinking about it, the more we discovered we're not equipped to do it ourselves. We wanted professional help. And a year and a half ago, or more, it was almost December 2017, we checked into a couple firms who could help do these capital campaigns. We interviewed them. We retained one of them to do what we call first feasibility study, to see how can we do the capital campaign. And based on that, we asked Styre Group to do it after their study. But Chancellor is with us from the Styre Group. And after that, we retained them to help us through the process. Because there is a lot of things to be done, and we don't know how to do it. Thanks be to God, a generous donor. He said, Bishop, I don't want you to worry about the expenses of the campaign. I'm taking care of that expenses. Whatever you raise, people give, will go straight to the capital campaign. And this has been a blessing. Somebody I know, that all the donations you make will go straight to the Maronite Catholic Foundation with no funds will go to use for administrative and expenses. And we talked about the 3 aspects, 3M, after the Blessed Mother, Mary. Missions and churches, ministries and ministers. And we thought about, we have right now 42 missions and parishes. Thank God most of our parishes are doing well. With the exception, when the mission starts at the beginning, we always need to help her. Like you know from yourself, your own families. When your children start right away, you keep paying for them, you're investing. Till they start, they graduate, they start making their own money, and they're well on their own. You don't need to have them. You always keep an eye, you need to watch, you need to support. This is part of our nature. But they start forming their own families as well. The same thing for the missions. We have them at the beginning, and after that, they stand on their own in something. And right now, we have like 5 missions we pay directly to support them at various levels. Some a little more than others, but we're improving. But more missions popping up as well. Right now, Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, they want to start one. Priest goes now from time to time. And but good if they want to have the priest now from the castle will be going to start seeing them. And those would be more extra missions. And at the beginning, I like to have the priest that he doesn't have to worry about how I'm going to be paid, how I'm going to, let him focus on bringing the people together. The second thing, ministries. And we need to really do better ministry in that perspective. Every parish does its own ministry, and God bless all our priests, and God bless all of you. You do well from the youth, the families, the children, and everything. Now we want to have also kind of like any other diocese. They have a good program to help spread it from the chancellor office to all the different parishes. That's why we started now with the religious education program. We formed a board. The sister you saw her with 12 parishes participating in that. And right now working on the family life ministry. I put the couple in charge, husband and wife. That will be the face of that office instead of a priest. And I'm working right now also with the MYO and MYA, and hopefully after that we'll go to the choir and things. And all those things will cost money. And I like to invest in these things so that, for example, we want to do family life ministry, or we need to do this kind of publication, this kind of videos, this kind of program. The diocese will pay for that instead of waiting for anybody. Those would be the ministries for to spend money on investing in our people. The third thing, in order to do these things, we need ministers. We need a priest. We need monks. We need nuns. We need lay ministers. We need to equip them. I cannot send somebody soldier to the back to the war if he or she is not properly trained. And they just, you know. And thank God, as I said, we're blessed right now. We have 9 seminarians for a long time. Now we start having. The ideal would be to have minimum, every year 2 ordinations. It would be better if we have 3. So that we will be able to sustain all the parishes we have and be able to open new church every year, 1 new church. We have the potential to go from 42 to 65 with no time. I could name a couple of places, you know. I start Wichita now, Eparchy, Omaha. They called me last week, they're thinking about buying a place and we don't have a place to go there yet. You know, Seattle, Washington, so many places they're thinking, but I don't have place for them. And that part, we have 9 seminarians, we have 3 married men who are accepted. We have 4 others who look into their application, thank God. We are on our way to start supplying priests to all those brigades. And each seminarian costs around $45,000 because we have to take care of their education, their living expenses, their medical expenses. You know, if I want them to concentrate, I don't want them to go and work outside and find a job. I cannot afford them properly. That's why we want to make sure we provide them the proper formation. And after that, we need to have more nuns. We need to have more, you know, everyone can serve. And I like to hopefully have lay ministers as well and properly form them so that they could be good example for others as well. Those things cost money. Thanks be to God, we have the Orders and Shepherd. We saw today, Don, thank you for participating, and many others. But the Orders and Shepherd, still money is not enough. We collect on, you know, the annual dues is like 70,000, 75. It's not enough. Pay only for, not even for 2 seminarians. We have some perpetual funds, like $2 million. We take the dividends from those, whatever, and still it's not enough to provide. We try to get some grants, but the rest of the ISIS pays. We have right now 5 retired priests. The end of the year, that will become 7. And each retired priest costs around $30,000 between salary and medical expense and so on. This is the minimum. Still, you know yourself, you cannot live on $30,000 if they want to rent something. Those are the things we have to provide for them as well, because morally, for all those people who help and serve, we cannot leave them, drop them, you know. We need to provide them for them. For all those things, we started the capital campaign, so that would be in a position to assist and help. And we said, as I'm asking you to give money and to donate, we have to give the example. We send also money, 10% for charitable purposes as well. So that we have disaster, catastrophe in one area or another, you know, something. The diocese also has an obligation to, that if if I was sick, you visited me, you helped me, so that the diocese also will be able to do some corporal work of mercy as well. And that's the reason we put that. And that would be all endowment fund. We want that's the principle. We will be using the dividends and interest from that to supply those with the regular income of the diocese, so that we'll be able to grow and do all those things as well. And the 15 million is not from Cincinnati, it's from all over the diocese. We'll be checking and asking all people of goodwill to help us and support us. And as I always say, it's not equal gifts, it's equal sacrifice. Whatever you can, we appreciate it. I'm sure St. Anthony of Padua appreciated, the diocese appreciated. And as we take care of our own home, let's make sure also we take care of our spiritual home and our mother church as well. I want to thank you for everything you do, and let's make this a great success. This is the first time ever in our diocese. No bishop did it before me. Some they told me, maybe you're crazy, maybe you're courageous enough, but we're trying and counting on everyone. And as a priest, as a bishop, we are all committed as well. All our priests are contributing to this capital campaign. We said we want it to happen, we want to make sure, and all the priests are going to give some contribution according to their also belief in that and ability to give as well. But I don't know if you have anything else to, I think in the package you have both commitments that will explain to you about. And I'm here to answer any questions you want to. I'll be happy to answer it as well.
Good afternoon. I just want to add my appreciation to everyone for sticking around and sharing in this message today. It is my great honor and privilege to get to serve this eparchy. I was thinking about this morning, how many people that their job, they get up every day and they get to make a bishop's vision come to life. So I have a pretty great job. I get to work with amazing people. And I thank everyone here for hosting us and hearing the message, and hopefully now we're inviting you to participate as well. So we have this pledge card, as has been indicated, it's a dual pledge card. So I just want you to read through it carefully. There's one section for the pledge to the eparchy, one section for a pledge specifically to your parish campaign. And we're going to ask that you write 2 separate checks. We need to keep all of the accounting separately. The check to the eparchy is directly to the Maronite Catholic Foundation, and that is indicated here on this card. We don't, because it's a whole new 501c3, all the gifts will be tax deductible to both campaigns, but we need to keep them separate for accounting. So initially, I know it's a little bit confusing, but initially, you have a return envelope here. We're asking that you send your commitment card in this envelope to St. Louis. What's going to happen then is St. Louis is going to scan that and share the information with the parish to ensure that both the eparchy and the parish have all the information for both for tracking purposes. However, if you want to include a gift, a check, or credit card at that time, you only want to send for the eparchy. In this envelope, you want your gifts for the parish to stay here locally, otherwise they just go to St. Louis and have to come back. So we'll save that extra postage and keep that separately. Again, it's a 3-year consideration. With hopefully, especially for the local campaign, a gift up front to help with those initial costs. There's many different ways to give. There are some ways that actually help you offset capital gains. So not only do you get a tax deduction, but you can offset capital gains through gifts of appreciated stock. If you're 70 and a half, gifts of IRAs, those annual minimum distributions can be donated. And for some folks, even gifts of property, things like that can be considered. There's also an opportunity, if you want to discuss with myself or the bishop or the eparchy staff, for bequests and other forms of more intricate planned gifts. So we're happy to discuss all options. We just really want to encourage your support. You are the very first parish for us to roll this out in its entirety in the public phase. We'll be visiting all 42 parishes and missions. We're going to be very busy over the next couple months. But again, thank you for hosting and helping us kick this off. And if you have any questions, we'll be around. So thank you.
Okay. Any question? Just anybody has any comment? Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
I guess one thing we want to point out, since we are unique and that we're doing a dual campaign, then if I understand it correctly, Zaidan, that it's both the combined total would be in these categories. Is that correct?
For recognition?
For recognition, I'm sure the parish here will recognize you accordingly. I was talking to Father George. He will recognize. The eparchy also will recognize you as well. It will be two recognitions, separate recognitions.
But the totals, if the category would be based on the combined of both amounts. Is that correct?
We have to discuss. We haven't talked about it, but the eparchy alone has to, is a 15 million. The parish here, you brought something in there. Let me explain. We're not dividing percentage. It's not like half. It's up to the person, whatever you like to do. I am a big on respecting the intention of the donor. Some people say, I'm going to give 90% to St. Anthony and maybe 10% to the eparchy or vice versa. It's up to the person, whatever you feel, and we respect that 100%. This is your gift, your feeling and your commitment, and the way you want, and we'll honor everything you want to do from that perspective. It's not that what we call done deal, or it's all, every gift is like customized gift in some way, personal gift and commitment. I want to ask you, from that book, we haven't discussed it yet, but to see which level each one. But the main thing, I think, we'll figure out proper ways the parish to acknowledge, proper way the eparchy to acknowledge. The way we did it, we were only thinking about the eparchy, to be honest with you, initially. You brought something we haven't thought about it, I want to be honest with you. But we'll bring it to the cabinet, to the people, and what's their ideas about it as well. But I want to ask you something also. I want you at least, if you cannot give anything, I want you at least to pray. This, all of us, we can do. The power of prayer is so important. To keep us in prayer, keep St. Anthony in prayer, keep the eparchy in your prayer, keep me in your prayer, keep Father George, keep all of us. Let's pray for each other. Let's pray so that all of us will be doing what God wants us to do. This money is not for me. This money is not for Father George. Actually, we're contributing also to that capital fund, myself as well, and all other people. We want this is for the kingdom of God. This ministry to keep growing and growing and to ensure our Maronite church will remain strong in this country and prosper and grow in the way God wants us to be. We were talking yesterday about how St. Charbel has been amazing all over the world, in all our relative communities as well that talk about St. Charbel. We as Maronite, we have to be also present in different parts of the world as well, in different parts of the United States. And this campaign will help us from that point to do more and more that will promote our beautiful tradition, our beautiful faith, and bring together our people as well.
I want to mention one more thing about the capital campaign is intended to be a gift spread across multi-years. So that's often what's a little bit different from the giving that you're used to doing at the parish level. So we're possibly, we're asking you to think of over 3 years. What could I give across an entire 3-year period? You don't have to pay it all at once. And even when you send in your commitment card, you don't even have to include a gift at this time. It's really just, what am I pledging? What's my commitment going to be for this 3-year period? And so often someone will say, I can give you $10,000, let's just as an example. And they write out and they think of it as a one-time gift. I want you to think, is there a possibility that if you have 3 years to pay it instead of just one time, could you stretch that gift? Could you double it or even triple it? If you can afford to give X amount of dollars right now, can you increase that over a 3-year period for both the eparchy and the parish? That will make a considerable difference in helping to achieve these goals. Both the $15 million for the eparchy and $750,000 for your local parish, those are both ambitious goals. We recognize that. And capital campaign is intended to be a stretch gift. Sometimes we even call them a stop and think or a once in a lifetime. Or, your offertory giving, that's just reactionary. You can give very easily what's, in your pocket or what's discretionary in your life, or other fundraisers around the parish. But a capital campaign, you really have to sit down as a family, pray together, talk about it. What can you budget and afford? Maybe even go to a financial advisor and ask for time and find out different ways that you can incorporate this. So this is intended to make you really think about your giving to the church and to be an extraordinary show of your faith and community. So that's all I have.
I want to make sure you brought something. Just I want you, this capital camp, it's not okay, I stop giving to the collection and I give one donation. Please don't do that. The church still needs your support on a regular basis. This is the important part. And I always say, I've been saying and always say, consider this like extra marriage of your children. You start planning ahead, and a year before you start saving money, put money aside. This is the same way. You keep taking care of all your regular expenses, and you start saving to do for that. Please consider that from that perspective as well. Yes, you have.
Yes, I have a question. We used to have an online page where we can do pledge online. We will.
We will shortly. I think we're working on it. Actually, will be.
And our intention right now is to get people to complete the commitment cards. We don't necessarily want, because what happens is someone may make a one-time gift not knowing the process. So we try to not have that be live for a little
So
wait.
that's people to see a little bit
But
more.
we'll have the opportunity to do automatic payments right away. Yes.
Okay. Any other question?
Thank you.
Real briefly, I was just standing here thinking, if anyone here knows other people that love our parish, they can be friends, relatives, people who haven't been here in a while, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or our committee, or we can help you reach out to those individuals as well. We have done this in a pretty quick period here of time. Our committee has worked very hard. We've had several meetings to do this. And St. Anthony is the poster child for the Eparchy. I mean, this is we're the first test. So we're going through a learning curve here as well. But, just think about other people. I can tell you that I send emails and information, and we can provide that link to you via email, and you can forward it to family, friends, because it's very touching. So I just wanted to pass that along. Linda?
I just have one more thing. I guess it's sort of understood with any capital campaign. So we talk about naming opportunities, and we don't have those clearly defined yet. But with most campaigns, the naming opportunity does not occur until the completion of the payment. It's not based on the pledge.
Correct. You got the point. Okay, I paid 10%, I named it, and it's not that, for the 90%, it's not correct. I agree with you on that. But I want to think also what Mike said. Sometimes I know somebody who's maybe able to give $1 million, but maybe I have the connection just to let you in. And Father George can go out giving an example of somebody. Then we take the proper way and do it. And those also are important elements as well. Sometimes we don't realize how many people are there waiting to be asked. And please, that's why I said, pray for it, reflect, and we'll see what God will provide. That's I always say, whenever we pray well, God will listen and God will open the doors for all of us as well. Yes?
I like the idea of the link, just to keep the communication open and it can spread, so more people know about it.
Definitely. And I want to thank Father George and all the committee here for all your work. And I'm sure that we'll be developing little more things as well as doing as Eparchy. We're working to keep developing and think. And you'll be seeing more on our website and our Facebook and Instagram and everything to see more about the capital campaign. And we'll be, like this video, we'll have shorter videos as well about everything.
One final comment, and I won't say anymore. If you think about it, if you have ideas and suggestions for here at St. Anthony and or the Eparchy about how we can grow and develop this, maybe it's remodel questions, maybe it's things for the Eparchy, please share that information with Father George. we'll have, email Father George and he could forward it, to the appropriate locations.
Okay? Any other question? By the way, we wanted to start our capital campaign with our 25th anniversary of the Eparchy. That's why we became the firm that it was the year of prep work. We learned these things and to prepare everything. We put the prayer together, and in that small booklet, I noticed family with the icons. I take it, week after week, so that all of us will be connected spiritually as in different parts of the Eparchy. Can we pray together? I think, Father George, everybody has it now. Okay, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. O Christ our Lord, source of all that is good, grant your blessing upon the Eparchy, our Lady of Lebanon, and upon all the faithful. We turn to you with gratitude for what we have, and with great anticipation for what is next. As we celebrate the jubilee of our Eparchy, and our wish, and give our priests, deacons, and sub-deacons, monks and nuns, the strength to persevere in their mission of care and families, and instill in our homes peace and love. Enlighten the hearts of our youth to generously answer your call to the service of your church. Grant eternal rest to all our faithful departed to serve our churches along the years. You have seen fit to grant us many gifts and abundance in our lives, for which we are grateful. If it is your will, we ask that our endeavors be successful to secure the future and to strengthen the mission of our Eparchy. Motivate us to always place ourselves under your guidance and to respond generously with our time, talents, and pleasures. We ask this in Jesus Christ our Lord. Through the intercession of Mary, our Lady of Lebanon, and our patron saints, we raise the glory and thanks to you, to your Father, and to your Holy Spirit, now and forever. Amen. Thank you. God bless you. Father George has something.
The presentations are taped. They will be uploaded on YouTube and will be shared with whoever you would like. Sending them by emails, by WhatsApp, etc. Please share them with whoever you would like. And also, Julian asked if the online, it is for St. Anthony, it is set. So we'll have two ways of online, either through the bank, EFT, or on our website. There's also donations and recurring donations. There's both things. So it is said we have it on the website, really clear there.
Just going to mention, anybody is very eager and you have your card completed, you can leave it with me today. You don't even have to use a stamp. So feel free to find me and either ask questions or leave your commitment card. So thank you again, everybody. I also want to thank Mike. He served on the Eparchy cabinet as well. So he's been pulling double duty. So thank you, Mike. I know you've worked real hard and all your local folks. Thank you very much.
I would like also to recognize Linda Salma, who has been a really unknown soldier.
She already sent ahead of time. She sent them the thank you. Kickstart.
I want to thank also the members of the committee, Rick, Adil, Linda Kunauer, and John, cousin. Forget anybody, please say. Okay, I want to say thank you for your time today that you took, and thank you for being together. I know many came and they had to leave, etc., but we communicated with everybody, but thank you for staying here to the end. We got this.